why I'm here teaching you yoga, to give you everything that you need to make the practice of your dream an active child. Give me 6 months and I'll be able to do a handstand. Welcome to class today. Today we're going to be doing something that's a little off the mat. I really want to make some chattier videos where we kind of talk about developing our practice and shifting into more of a intentional practice. And so obviously if that interests you, make sure that you like and subscribe. I'll be making these every Tuesday. I think it's a really lovely place to discuss and talk. I thought an introductory video of who I am and like what my story is would probably like help people just understand why I'm here teaching you yoga and kind of where my passion lies within teaching. So I am Chatty. I'm a Suffolk in the UK based yoga teacher. I teach full-time in person and then obviously make videos every Friday where we flow. Sometimes it's a little bit more gentle and sometimes it's a little bit more fiery. My goal as a yoga teacher is to give you everything that you need to make the practice of your dream. I've actually been practicing for 10 years. I'm turning 26 in the next month, so I will have been practicing since I was 16. It's important for me for you to understand I wasn't an active child. I didn't do dance, I didn't do gymnastics. It might have been the thing that played into having poor mental health, but I actually think my mental health issues probably came more from like the drama of being a teenage girl, honestly. And I had quite low self-esteem, kind of for a very long time. Kind of mental health wobbles went into my 20s as well. And I think it's very natural to have ups and downs throughout teen years and through your early 20s. And yoga really became quite a support to keep me in a better place mentally. I had the ups and downs when I was a teenager. My mum suggested me doing something maybe a bit more active and honestly was not up for that because, as I say, I was not an active child. Not interested at all. You know, yoga, maybe it's because yoga seemed softer and gentler and I could do it by myself that it interested me a little bit more. So I ended up doing like yoga in my bedroom at 16, like yoga with Adrian, like a couple of days a week, and it slowly grew until when I was about 18, I found yoga Instagram. Oh my goodness, I realized you could do a lot of cool things with yoga Instagram. Like honestly, I thought, oh, if I just give me 6 months and I'll be able to do a handstand. I still can't do a handstand, I guess. I just felt like I needed to explore this physical thing, which was yoga. And, you know, I would say this is still a yoga journey. This is not, you know, a lot of people say it's not yoga unless it's intentional. My intention behind it was to help my mental health initially. And it remained that way for a long time. It actually remained that way up until, you know, a couple of years ago. So I would say that I really focused in on that breathing and the moving and the being meditative and intentional with the way I was moving my body. But then once I found this Instagram kind of side of things, I definitely think that my practice went from being actually more deep to being a little bit more superficial. And honestly, I don't think that is me to blame. I think that is the way that yoga is put out into the world on social media platforms still to this day. I started to kind of practice with crow pose and headstands, a lot of strength like all over. And so I actually started lifting weights as well because I'm hypermobile. It seemed to help my joints. With lifting weights, I was doing yoga. I'm probably doing yoga every day at this point. I went, I'm going to do my teacher training. So I applied to go do my teacher training in Cambridge, and like, honestly, it changed my practice and it changed my mindset about yoga. I did realize this was a spiritual practice and it was a very old spiritual practice. I learned about the yamas and I learned about the niyamas. Now, I was very good at the yamas, still to this day very good. I only have just kind of cracked the niyamas, I have to say. I think it's taken me from like the age of 20 to 25 to really find who I am and really learn to make good routines and also like learn that it's not like an all or nothing mentality. You can have balance within your life, and the niyamas have definitely taught that to me. Also, in the time of like my teacher training, I tried loads of different types of yoga. So hot yoga, ashtanga yoga, vinyasa yoga. My training was more like hatha vinyasari, but more hatha, I'd say. I felt like we learned to hold our postures a lot more. We learned the importance of finding breath in the postures, alignment in the postures. And honestly, I'm quite grateful for that, because it was really taught me the real foundations that I live by to this day. In that training, because I was practicing Ashtanga at the time once a week, that I shouldn't be doing Ashtanga. And when you are 19 and this information thrown at you, it's very easy to take things like for face value. And so I stopped doing Ashtanga because one teacher said, oh, you're hypermobile, you shouldn't be doing that. So I just want you to remember, like, you don't necessarily have to take things so seriously. I took a break from Ashtanga, and in the whole timeline of things, I didn't even start teaching till like basically last year. So I did teach, but I didn't teach full time, and I would teach more. For a long time, I taught lots of family and friends. That's kind of what I focused on. Honestly, I just needed to build up my confidence. But my practicing remained consistent throughout the 5 years of getting trained as a yoga teacher and then actually going to being a full-time yoga teacher. I also had like other jobs. I also had a baby in that time. So that was different, and my practice definitely changed then. But I think the biggest shift in my practice was when I decided to really focus in on some more of the spiritual practices that come alongside yoga. Yoga in its own right is a spiritual practice, and I think you have to have this mindset shift of people can come into a practice, and you can come into a practice, me, myself, or you, and be very focused on what your body can do and what your body can't do, and working towards physical goals. And you can decide at some point that you are slowly creeping in to, dipping your toes into the spiritual side, and then you can also decide to just go for it, and you can change your mind about something. And once I did that, it was like a freedom of just being able to like listen to the wise words of Patanjali, and obviously like the teachers that came and brought it to the West. Also, just like you begin to become more in tune with your body and like what your body needs, so your ego stops calling the shots so much. Parts of you that might be holding back, or like the parts of you that don't want to feel discomfort, or like I would say not discomfort, but also like the parts of you that don't feel like they are allowed to step into parts of the practice. I think because it's a little foreign to us to find a spiritual practice through something as awesome as yoga, you kind of have to like mentally prepare yourself to take that step. And once you do, it's honestly, it's like you just let go, and it's here. And it's not easy. I'm not going to say that my practice has been easy, but in the last 10 years, I've learned the hard parts, and it's a lot easier having the practice than not having the practice, in my opinion. I think what I needed to do though in my like late teens and early 20s was do a lot of healing and just allow myself to let go of things from the past. And I honestly think that has helped me step into my higher self, or like kind of meet my higher self. But my practice is much more spiritually based, even the movement side. I meditate. I honestly go through ups and downs with my meditation, but I definitely feel like I'm more observant on my body. I'm more observant of what makes me feel good. And my mental health and my self-esteem is so much better. Obviously, age does that too, but it's so much better than it once was. And I know that is because I chose to change my life, and yoga didn't save my life, but yoga was a huge contributing factor to how like to who I am today. Yeah, that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it, and you may have gotten nothing out of this, but I always think it's good to like tell you who I am. That would be a nice introductory video. So hopefully you enjoyed it. I'd love to know your story on how you found yoga and how it's changed your life.